In the headlines, Army Chief decries killing of soldiers, attacks on military formations. Tinubu sends 1.48 trillion naira 2025 Rivers budget to National Assembly for approval. Federal government files criminal charge against Natasha Akpabio Yahaya Bello to testify. On the foreign scene, DR Senate to debate immunity of ex-leader accused of treason. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. My name is Idris Bature. Now, the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Olufemi Oluwede, has decried the recent death of soldiers involved in various operational theaters across the country. General Oluwede stated this during the 2025 edition of the Chief of Army Staff's biannual conference held at Maiduguri in Borno State. Oluwede, while regretting the loss of soldiers, encouraged his colleagues and men not to be discouraged by the recent development. He assured that the Army will prioritize its efforts to achieve better results at the front lines in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy and Air Force, including other sister security agencies in the country.
Expectation that is pivotal gathering with the strategic foresight, operational alignment, and insights where military and community engagements converge. During the deliberation of topical issues, our goal will be to identify areas of improvement and develop practical solutions that will strengthen our effectiveness in safeguarding the nation's space and security. Because the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2024, our current need for the Nigerian Army to commit towards aligning our kinetic and non-kinetic operations with the dynamic nature of the operating environment.
Now, the Yobe State Police Command has arrested 2 suspects in connection with the kidnap of a 22-year-old in Tashanranda village in Fika area of the state. This was disclosed in a statement by the State Police Public Relations Officer Dungus Abdul Karim on Thursday. The Yobe PPRO described the arrest as a significant success in the command's efforts to maintain security and safety in the state. Abdul Karim said on May 6, 2025, armed individuals attacked the residence of a man identified as Maikudi, abducted his daughter, and injured another girl in the process. He stated that the kidnap syndicate requested 5 million naira for the release of the victim. According to him, operatives of the command took prompt action on the case and initiated an investigation that led to the rescue of the victim and the dismantling of the kidnappers' den. The Lagos State Police Command has confirmed the death of a 60-year-old motorcycle operator Wasiu Babatunde Adeniran, who was swept by floodwaters during heavy rainfall along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway in Alakuku, Lagos. In a Thursday statement signed by the State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin, the command revealed that the incident occurred on May 20, 2025 at about 4 p.m. Adeniran reportedly lost control of his motorcycle amid a downpour and was dragged by the raging flood. Effort to locate the victims began immediately, with Adeniran's motorcycle located downstream around 6 p.m. on the same day, while his body remained missing until the next morning. Police detectives promptly visited the scenes of the incident and recovery document evidence to aid their investigation. The police command reiterated its commitment to ensuring thorough investigation while extending its condolence to the bereaved family. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has officially submitted the 2025 appropriation bill for Rivers State to the National Assembly for consideration, following the suspension of the State House of Assembly. In a letter addressed to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, the proposed budget totaled 1.481 trillion naira with major allocations aimed at revitalizing key sectors. Infrastructure tops the list with a proposed 325 billion naira, while the health sector is allocated 106 billion naira, including 5 billion naira earmarked for free malaria drugs. The education sector is set to receive 75.6 billion naira, while 31.4 billion naira is proposed for agricultural development. In a formal communication to the National Assembly, President Tinubu is asking the Senate for an expeditious consideration. The Senate has referred the bill to its ad hoc committee on emergency rule with instructions to review the proposal and report back to the chamber as soon as possible.
Forwarding of Rivers State Government 2025 Appropriation Bill for consideration by the National Assembly. Further to the nullification of the 2025 budget of Rivers State by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, please find forwarded herewith the 2025 Appropriation Bill for Rivers State for consideration of the Senate. The distinguished Senate may wish to recall that Rivers State is currently under emergency rule, which was proclaimed and duly gazetted in March 2025. Regulation 4, subsection 2F of the Emergency Rule 2025 requires authorization for expenditure from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State for its activities. In the absence of the State Assembly, it's expected that the National Assembly acts on that behalf.
Now, the Progressives Governors Forum on Thursday passed a vote of confidence in President Tinubu, with the party leadership adopting the decision. The governors elected under the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC put their decision up for adoption during the party's national summit at the banquet hall of the presidential villa in Abuja. Chairman of the Progressives Governors and Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, said members of the Progressive Governors Forum are satisfied with the midterm review of the performance evaluation result of the renewed Hope agenda. He called the Governor of Kaduna State, Obasani, to second the motion for the adoption of the president for the 2027 presidential election. Now, the second prosecution witness in the ongoing trial of Nnamdi Kanu has told Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja that the Eastern Security Network ESN, established by Kanu, is an illegal group, unlike Amotekun, which is backed by law. Testifying under the codename BBB, the witness made the claim while being re-examined by the prosecution counsel Adeboyega Awomolo San, who asked him to compare the activities of Amotekun and ESN. The witness stated that the Amotekun was established through laws passed by the Houses of Assembly of the 6 Southwest states, whereas the ESN has no legal backing for its existence. He further testified that the Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, had at some point advocated for community policing initiatives to combat security on the condition that such efforts receive guidance and approval from recognized security agencies. Earlier during the hearing, Defense Counsel Paul Erokoro San tendered 3 video recordings contained in a flash drive, which the court admitted into evidence. The 3 videos were subsequently played in the open court. In one of the recordings, the DG of the DSS was seen speaking at a public event where he encouraged communities to create a first line of defense against bandits and other external threats. When asked by Erokoro whether the DSS DG was not effectively calling for communities to arm themselves, the witness clarifies that the DG has specifically noted that such effort must be under the supervision of security agencies. Now, the federal government has instituted a suit against the senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, over alleged defamatory remarks made on live television. The suit, filed before a Federal Capital Territory High Court on May 16, 2025, has Akpoti-Uduaghan as the sole defendant. The government accused the senator of making imputation knowing or having reason to believe that such imputation will harm the reputation of a person, citing Section 399 of the Penal Code, Cap 89, Laws of the Federation, 1990. The offense is punishable under Section 392 of the same law. The list of witnesses shows the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and former Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, will testify during the trial. Now, the Edo State government on Thursday said it has uncovered and sealed a brothel inside a primary school in Esan West local government area of the state. The state coordinator of the protection of government property, Eugene Okolosi, who disclosed this at a press conference in Benin State, added that over 2,000 plots of land encroached upon have also been recovered. Okolosi noted that so far, over 150,000 houses in the state are built on government land and appealed to those who want to acquire landed property to get clearance from the Edo Geographic Information Service to avoid falling victim to the criminal activities of land grabbers. Okolosi revealed that the agency has received over 3,000 petitions from communities regarding illegal acquisition of government property in the last 2 months and vowed to recover them. He commended the Governor Okpebolo for the provision of legal counsel to the agency to ensure the smooth prosecution of the offenders. This is the news update on Trust TV, coming up after the break. FCT indigenes lament exclusion. More news when we return. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Army chief decries killing of soldiers, attacks on military formations. And Tinubu sends 1.48 trillion naira 2025 Rivers budget to National Assembly for approval. Now moving on to more stories, the story of Abuja's rise as Nigeria's capital is often told with pride, a symbol of unity, a center of power, a vision of modern nationhood. But beneath the wide boulevards and glass towers lies a quieter, painful story, one of displacement, cultural loss, and marginalization. As the city's skyline expanded, the original custodians of the land, the Bagi and other indigenous groups were pushed to the fringes. Their ancestral homes, farmlands, and sacred places were taken to make way for the capital, and decades later, many say they are still waiting for justice. Trust TV's Abubakar Galadima visited some of these communities and heard voices rarely included in Abuja's success story.
Abuja was a dream crafted on paper, a city born of national ambition. But for those who originally lived here, it is a creation came at higher cost. Communities like Gosa Toge were uprooted, relocated, and in many cases forgotten. While government promises of compensation and resettlement were made, most were never fulfilled.
Ever since the federal capital was moved to Abuja, none of the promises made to us have been fulfilled. All our farmlands were confiscated, and we are facing severe hardship. The government took all our lands for urban renewal without proper compensation. We even went to court to challenge some illegal demolitions. Till now, nothing has been done.
Village head Autapo Subawa recalls how generations of farmland were swallowed up by bulldozers. The pain of loss is not just physical, it is cultural. Dalladi Jeji, president of Ohida, says that for years, indigenous communities have been fed lip service. No real compensation, no access to political power, no stake in the city that was built around over them.
The body language of the Nigerian government is clearly showing that Nigerian government wants FCT to be seen as virgin land, and it is not democratically correct. So this has brought all the agitation that is before FCT people, and yesterday was a climax of protesting what Nigerian government have done. This administration is clearly trying to address it by creating one avenue to start resolving that by developing North Central Development Commission. And in the act bringing that the North Central Development Commission clearly spelled out that all the states that compose of the Development Commission of the geopolitical zones will be leaders emanating from those states following alphabetical arrangement.
For Selina Abu, a younger voice in the movement, the call is simple: give Abuja's original inhabitants meaningful political recognition. She advocates for a creation of a state that truly represent and protect their heritage.
That word saying FCT is going to be treated as if it is a state. That if should be removed so that we become state of FCT.
While Abuja represents national pride, its founding came at the expense of those who once lived freely on this land. Today, many of them live without basic infrastructure, educational access, or political inclusion. As sleek government buildings and luxury estates define the city's modern identity, the original settlers remain in informal communities. Their voices are frequently drawn out by wealth, bureaucracy, and silence. The divide was once again spotlighted during a recent Senate debate on the Federal Capital Territory budget, where Senator Nwambui stirred controversy by suggesting that indigenous communities near the Abuja airport be relocated to enhance the city's aesthetic appeal for visitors.
The type of infrastructure within the environs, Your Excellency, does not represent the good image of this country. And I think that the FCT minister should capture in their next budget, if not incorporated in this, to either relocate the inhabitants of the people within the airport or renew the area, at least, because that is the mirror of the country as we are descending into Abuja Airport.
Abuja Airport, do you agree with him? Those in support say aye. No, those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
The remark triggered backlash seen by many as yet another attempt to erase the presence of those who have already lost so much in the name of development. And the question still echoes from the villages just beyond the expressways. When will Abuja, the nation's capital, truly become home for those it displaced? Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima, reporting for Trust TV.
And now in business, Longot Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals Company has announced another reduction of 15 naira in the price of its high-quality premium motor spirit PMS, popularly known as petrol. The reduction was announced by the company in a statement made available to newsmen on Thursday in Lagos. According to the firm, as a result of this reduction, Nigerians in Lagos will now purchase the product at 875 naira per litre, 885 naira per litre in the southwest, 895 per litre in the northwest and north central, while it will be sold for 905 naira per litre in the southeast, south and northeast. These prices will apply through all its partners, including MRS, AP Aduva, Hedin, Optima Energy, Techno Oil and Hyde. The refinery called on other marketers to join its expanding network of partners, thereby demonstrating their support for President Bola Tinubu's Nigeria First policy, which advocates the prioritization of locally produced goods and services. And now away from Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo's Senate will on Thursday debate lifting the immunity of ex-President Joseph Kabila, who the government accused of supporting a Rwanda-backed militia in the mineral-rich East. A vote in favor could expose the 53-year-old to prosecution on charges of supporting the M23 armed group, which has seized swathes of the eastern DRC with Rwandan support. His successor, President Felix Tshisekedi, accuses Kabila of conspiring with the M23, whose recent lighting offensive has intensified the more than 3-decade-long eastern conflict. Kabila has been ousted out of the country since 2023, according to his entourage, without revealing his whereabouts. Justice Minister Constant Mutamba in April urged the military court to take up the case against Kabila, who led the DRC between 2001 and 2019. The government accused the former president of treason, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and participation in an insurrectionary movement. And now in sport, Abakaliki FC head coach Ifeanyi Oyedika has stated that his team is not intimidated by Nigeria Premier Football League (NPFL) teams in the President Federation Cup. The Rice Boys have successfully eliminated Eimba, Rivers United, Nasarawa United and Ikorodu City on their first road to final of the competition. Abakaliki FC defeated Ikorodu City 5-4 on penalties to book a date with Kwara United in the final of the 2025 President Federation Cup. Oyedika boasted that his team is capable of competing against any team despite their Nigerian National League NNL status. And now the remains of the National President Motion Pictures Practitioners Association of Nigeria Mopan Mekudi Umar Kashman have been buried in Zaria. A relative of the deceased, Abdulaziz Muazi, said Umar died after a protracted illness at Abu Teaching Hospital, Shika Zaria, on Wednesday night. Muazi said the deceased, age 62, was survived by an aged sister, brothers and relatives. Until his death, he was an actor, a producer and a film director at both Kannywood and Nollywood. He was also a lecturer at the New Bomali Polytechnic Zaria. His remains was laid to rest at the Tudunjukun burial ground in Zaria according to the Islamic Rite on Thursday. Prominent personalities including hundreds of film stars attended his funeral prayer. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. I am Idris Bature, thanking you for being with us. Good evening.